Whoa.
Is this working? Okay. Can you hear me? Good. I think before we begin, one of the things I'd like to let you know is if you have an IEP, then you need to get in touch with Natalie Price. So her email address would be nprice@heritagecs.edu. So you can contact her that way, and then you can set up a time with her to meet. All right, here we are with the academic orientation. I'm the most important person that's going to get up here today. Only one laugh. You're here at Heritage for a variety of reasons, I'm sure. One of the great benefits of being here is community, that you get to know people that you didn't know, and you get to share a lot of good times together. But you need to realize that the main thing we do here is academics. And there are several things that I want you to understand about it to help you through. The first thing is that what we do here is not a dumbed down version of university education. It is on the same level as a university. So your friends, some of them going to university, what they're doing in their first year and being asked to do in their first year would be similar to what we do. In fact, I would argue maybe we would be maybe a little more strict and also a little more work. Second thing that I want you to know is that your academics need to be a priority. I'm a night person, so I like staying up late at night. But if I stay up late at night and then try to do work late, I'm not so good. So I need to do my work earlier, either in the evening or in the daytime, but I need to essentially work when I'm bright, when I'm awake. And so you need to make sure you carve out time during the week. Now, if you're here and you're taking 5 courses, or 6 if you add the what is it called? The orientate, spiritual formation, is that what it's called? That's what the title of the first, the 1.5 hour spiritual formation 1 and 2, is that correct? One each semester. So you're going to need to say to yourself, I need to think of 6 hours plus the 3 hours I go to class, making 9 hours for each course. Now, I'm not trying to scare you. Some weeks you won't do very much. But the point is that you need to think of it as a full-time job, that you're working Monday to Friday, and that you're putting in those sorts of hours in that week. Now, of course, if you don't have to do any homework for that particular week, obviously you're just going to the classes. But even in those times, you might be thinking about, say you have a book review that's due. Well, why don't you start reading the book when you have some time to do that? It's important that you take this like a job and take it seriously so that you can, we want you to be successful, and the way you succeed here is by doing your work, and that means time. Another thing that we would want you to know is that every program is designed to equip you for life and ministry. So yes, there is an academic component where you're learning things and you're memorizing things and so on, getting them into your head, but we also want it to move to the heart so that actually what you're learning can be applied to life. And so that's very much a part of what our professors seek to do, because they're significantly involved in their local church, and when they teach, they're thinking in terms of application regarding Christian ministry, Christian life. Now, some specific objectives that we want to accomplish in your lives is, one, to develop critical and analytical thinking skills. So we're not going to tell you what to believe. We're going to share with you what we think you should believe. And some of those things we would say you definitely should believe. But there are a number of things in your courses that we want you to work through yourself. Not depending on your pastor or depending upon your teacher or depending upon your parents for the right answer. We want you to learn. You're adults now, and we want you to exercise your own critical thinking. And so there are things that will come up in the classes that there are different opinions amongst Christians, and therefore we want you to think about, where do you land on this particular issue? So that's important for us, is critical thinking skills. I remember having one student, there's probably more than one that had this thought, but the idea is that they thought they knew everything when they came to Bible college. And then they said, when I graduated, I felt I knew nothing. What they were basically saying is that their preconceived ideas about what the Bible's teaching actually were not necessarily those that were right. And so there was an upheaval in their time at Heritage. And not that we want you to leave in any way struggling with anything, but again, coming back to the critical thinking, we want you to be critical thinkers in your Christianity. If we're going to deal with the world out there, we are going to have to engage the world. And that means we have to understand what they are saying, but also understand what we say so that we can respond to them. And that takes critical thinking. The other thing is, obviously, we want you to increase in your biblical and theological literacy, and you'll get that as you do your Bible courses, such as hermeneutics and Intro to Old Testament and New Testament, etc. We also want you that your understanding of life and ministry in our day will increase, will enhance. So again, life is where we want to land at the end of the day, living out what we believe and thinking, living out what we believe. So some academic expectations that we have is we expect you always to give your best and, as I said earlier, manage your time and resources wisely. This means diligence and it means discipline. No one's sort of over your shoulder telling you that you need to get at your homework now. This is going to be up to you to do, and so you need to sort of self-discipline. Also, our profs want you to come and talk to them. So you've heard the phrase, there is no stupid question. You need to realize that's true. For our profs, they want to help you, and if there's something that you think everyone else is getting but you're not, please go and talk to the prof. He'll be happy to talk to you, or she will be. We have an open door policy with regard to visiting the profs when they're in the office. So feel free, and we encourage you to sit down with them. Even if you don't have something important to talk about, you could just sit down and get to know them. Responsibility. What you're going to get is a syllabus in each class. And that syllabus is a contract between you and the professor. He is bound by it, and you are bound by it. And therefore, you need to look at what is required, and I would suggest putting down on some sort of, I don't know, calendar, maybe one of those calendars that have the 12 months or whatever, and put down when things are due. And you might even put down, I need to start working on this here. That way you're keeping yourself in line and nothing sort of surprises you at one point. Oh, I forgot I had that to do. No, you should have been looking ahead and making sure you knew, and then even saying, I need to get started on this at a certain time. You are ultimately responsible for your grade. So if you don't do the work, you're not going to pass. There's no allowing you to move on or even to pass the course just simply because you're there. No, you need to do the work, and you are responsible for that. I think that Sandy's going to say this, but I'll add it right now, and that is your parents can't contact your professor and ask about what you're doing or how you're doing. They can only do that if you give them permission to do it. You understand? You're adults, and therefore confidentiality is very important for us at the school. So if you want your parents to talk to the professor, then you have to give permission for that. And Sandy, I think you'll take care of how that's done. So that's very important, because your parents may call us and we're going to have to tell them, I'm sorry, I can't answer those questions unless we have that permission. So it's really up to you to make sure, if they have a question, that you come to us with that question, and then you can relay it back to them. So as I said, the syllabus is your contract with the professor. And I said earlier that you have usually 3 hours in each class, and then we would say count on 2 hours of study for every hour in class. So that's where I got the 9-hour number. And again, you won't need to use all of that time every week, but there may be some weeks when you use more than that. Again, if you organize your time, it probably will work out that you're not having to do late nighters and so on. We grade the homework that you do by a particular rubric, and that is given to you in the syllabus. In other words, what is an A, what is a B, what is a C, what is a D, and what is an F? And so you can read through that to see how we are going to mark you, how we're going to grade you. Okay, I think that's all I need to give you, but I'm open to any questions you might have. Yes. My name is Barry Howson. I'm the Vice President of Academics and the Dean of the College and Dean of the Seminary. And I do teach some college courses. Yeah. Yes.
I'm a little bit technologically illiterate sometimes, so when it comes to my populi, for doing courses that are synchronous but online, how do you attend virtually? Or who would I talk to if that's not the right time to ask?
No, you're saying if you're taking an online course that is oh yeah, the question is online. Say it again.
Where do you attend your online live streams for courses virtually? I've been looking, trying to kind of preemptively find where I'm supposed to be. I haven't found it.
Okay, where do you get on to virtual or to long distance learning? What you can do is you can talk to your advisor if you have any of these questions. Be totally free to do that. What you have in your My Populi, or My Heritage Populi, is you have the courses that you take. You can see those. And some of them have different codes. You'll see that one will have a -1, one will have a -2, and one will have a -23. The -1 is in class. The -2 is totally online. And the -23 is for live stream. So what wouldn't you know besides that you would not want some more information on?
I'm in -23.
You're in a -23? Yeah, so what you do is if you're at home or if you're in dorm, you just log in to your My Heritage, and then you go to the course. Isn't that right, Sandy? You'll address it? Okay. So, yeah, it's not that difficult. But the point is you'll be on the screen at the back of the class, and the professor hopefully will be looking at you if you want to ask any questions, because it's easy for the professor not to pay attention to you when there's so many people in the class, so you have to almost, be trying to get his attention. Any other questions? Great. Well, my hope is that you have a great year. I hope that it's a fun year, and I hope that it's a great learning year and growing in Christ year.
Well, hi, it's finally great to see all of your faces. Class of 2027, right? Isn't that right? Isn't that what you are? And for everybody who's online, hopefully I'll get to see you soon. So my name is Heather Okrafka, and I'm interim library director this year, so come on over to the library and see me. I've actually already seen, I counted, there's 3 of you I've already seen in the library, so extra marks already. Anyway, a couple of things to help you out, resources that we have in the library to help you with your papers, etc. First of all, I should tell you that the library is open Monday to Thursday, 8 in the morning till 10 at night. We're open Friday, 8 till 5, and Saturday, 11 till 4. And those hours will be starting tomorrow. So right now we're still in summer hours, but tomorrow, regular hours. And then around holiday times, it varies a bit, of course, because reading weeks and holidays, so. Okay, so all of our resources I'm going to mention presently, you can find online. So if you go on the school website and you scroll down towards the bottom, there's a library tab. Click on the library, and you can go in there, and you will find Survivor's Secrets. Looks like this in my hand, and it's got a lot of sort of basic information about time management, how to write an essay, how to write a book report, what is plagiarism, grading rubric for the school, all that sort of thing, so sort of basic things. Then we get a little bit more specific with the Heritage Manual of Style. And this is the very specific stuff about how you write your paper, what font you have to use, the margins you have to use, how to do all the footnotes and the bibliographies, okay? And then this is really just a distillation of this. And so if you purchase this, it's probably a good idea to do that. It's called The Manual for Writers by Kate Turabian, also known as Chicago Style, if you're familiar with that. So this is what we're using here for writing papers. In addition to those things, we have several databases. And once again, you'll find them, you can link to them through the library website. And it's through it's called EBSCO. And then we have the ATLA religion database, which sort of includes everything in the world of religion. We've got the CPI, Christian Periodical Index, which is focused more on the evangelical world. We have the SOCH Index, and we have ebooks. And that's sort of the basic things that we offer in the library. So please come, pay us a visit. And as Dr. Howson already said, ask questions. Don't be afraid. My door is almost always open, so just come on in and ask questions. When I'm not there, there are other students who work the evenings, and they're knowledgeable as well. So any questions at the moment? Yes, they are. Yep. Yep, so they're on the library tab on the school website. Or you can come into the library and use these, or print off your own if you like paper. For you who are online, the question there was, are copies of Survivor's Secrets and the Heritage Manual of Style available online? And the answer is yes. Anything else? No, okay. We'll see you in the library.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sandy. I work in the registrar's office. I've been in the registrar's office for 12 years. Teresa Beach has been the registrar for probably the last 20 years. She was on a medical leave. Her husband got very sick with COVID, was hospitalized for quite a long time. They are finally home, and so she works remotely part-time. So I'm interim. She may interact with you sparingly, but basically all your interactions come to me. And today I'm going to go through, can you hear that? That's irritating. Feedback. All right. I'm going to go through policies and procedures. All right. Okay. Let me start off by telling you where to find my office. It's in the academic building. So when you go in the main doors, you would take the first right where the washrooms are, and you're going to see the first window. That's Karen. She deals with the seminary. Second window is my old window. I'm now in the back office where Teresa used to be, but there's a bell there, a service bell. Just ring it, and I come running. If I don't come running, I'm not in the office. Okay, let's go. What do we do? Applications, testing, transfer credit, schedules, registration, substitutions, course changes, academic discipline. I'll get into that. Connecting you with other services. If you're kind of lost, the registrar's office is kind of known as the hub, where people are like, where do I find this? Student services is very much the same. We deal with graduation, transcripts, and I think that's all on that. Whoa. Confirmation of enrollment. That's the important one that you guys will want to know about. If you have RESPs and your parents need a letter, you can actually do that from MyHeritage. On your student tab, it says print verification enrollment. If the information that comes up is not detailed enough for what you need, then you come to me, fill out a form, and I can get that to you within 48 hours, and then you can email that to your parents. Course registration, we're going to be dealing with this in November for your winter term. Everything that we do is done by email. We rarely ever text you, so always be checking your email. And also on MyHeritage, there's the homepage, the activity feed. There's a lot of information that you'll be able to find there as well. But we're going to inform you when online enrollment opens. You'll be given a deadline to select your courses. It's best if you meet with your advisors early. This includes people that are online. You can email them, set up a time to, I don't know, maybe have a Teams call or just email them back and forth and figure out what your courses are. Please make sure you meet the deadline so you can avoid the $100 late fee. Your degree audit is found on your student tab. And that is where you're going to track your progress of your degree. You find all the courses that you need to take listed on your degree audit. And if you need help understanding that, you need to talk with your faculty advisor. I will say when you're on the degree audit, when you scroll down, it will have a header explaining, it might say for this year, 23-24 year 1 fall required courses. Right underneath that is going to say show, and beside that it says all completed or not completed. It's easiest to just click on all. It will list all the courses that you need to take for that term, and then you'll see the courses listed there with an IP beside the ones that you're enrolled in, because that means in progress. So anything that is blank, doesn't have a grade beside, that means you haven't taken it yet. So that would be what you would need to likely still enroll in, okay? Again, contact your advisor, they can help you through that. Attendance. You must attend 75% of your class meeting times for each course in order to pass. This is what Dr. Hausen is referring to as we are going to be more strict if you come from another school, where some schools, especially public schools, you don't even have to go to class sometimes and you can still pass the course. That is not the case here. So if you miss more than 25%, you will receive an FN, and that FN grade means failure for non-attendance. So it's very important that you attend your classes. You may hear students that are in previous years ahead of you say you get 3 misses. You absolutely don't. Do not follow that rule, because sometimes things happen. Like if the professor's driving to school and his car breaks down and he misses class, now your percentage has immediately changed. Not your fault, not really his fault or her fault. It happens. So please don't think I get 3 misses and I can bag classes. You don't want to bag classes. Consider your absences for severe illness, or if something of an emergency happens within your family. I hope that doesn't happen, but it does happen at times. Whenever that happens, please speak to your professor. Communication is really important. I'm going to keep saying that over and over and over again, how important communication is. I am going to say for everybody that is in a -1 on-campus courses, that's the format you need to attend as your primary way of attending class. We make exceptions if you have a cold and you know that you're contagious, or if you've had the flu, or even if you had food poisoning the night before, but you're able to attend class, but you don't feel well enough or good enough, like, to look and be in front of people, you can actually jump on to -23, which is on your student tab. Under links, you'll see links, files, something else, books. So under links, you can join that class. It would be really wise for you to let the professor know, because if you're a -1 student, he's going to look for your face, and if he doesn't see it, he or she doesn't see it, they will likely mark you absent. They're not going to think to look on the screen, so send them a quick email saying, Dr. Housen, I'm not feeling well this morning. I was up all night being sick. I'm going to attend live stream. Then he can look over and see that you're there. Now, with live stream students, this is really important. When you log on, we'll see your initials. For many professors, that is not true attendance, because somebody can turn on the screen for you and you are not attending the class. We've had many discussions in this as a faculty meetings, and most of them are requiring that your camera be on and that they can see you. So again, if you're feeling lousy and you don't want all your classmates seeing you, let them see your shoulder. Let him or her know that you're there, but you can't just have your letters up. They have to be able to see you. And if you're really not wanting to be like fully on screen, interact, conversation, so that professor knows that you are actually there and attending, participating. Very important. For -23 students that are synchronous at a distance doing classes, you don't get the option to just show up and come into class. I know it sounds a little unfair, but you've signed up to be away, so that's the way we expect it. And the reason that really helps us is fire code and all of that. So the professor, again, isn't going to be expecting to see you in class. If we have a fire drill, we don't know to account for you because you're a 23, like a -23 student, which means you're synchronously learning. Again, if you have any questions on this, mark it down and or if you want, just put your hand up and I'll ask as we're going. That might be easier. Okay. I've beat that to death, simply because they didn't show up. And if you're not going to be in class and you've been sick, you need to have a doctor's note. It's not suggested, it's a must. If you don't have one, the professors will not waive your absence. So please, go to class. All right, let's move on. If you need to withdraw from a course, let's say in the next couple weeks, you look at all your syllabus, you are overwhelmed with all the work, and you're just like, I can't do 16.5 hours. I need to drop back to 13.5. Then you need to see your faculty advisor, and you need to do a course change form, which again, you'll find on your student tab. Your student tab is going to be one of your best friends because a lot of information is going to be found there. That will be under the files. Course change, late enrollment, late registration is what it's called. You fill that out, you take it to your faculty advisor, you have them sign it, and then you submit it to me. And you want to pay attention. Let me see, did I bring that up here? Yes, I did. It looks like this. And on the back, It will show you the reimbursement sliding scale. So when you do it in week 1 and week 2 and week 3, your percentages are much better than if you wait until later. Also, if you drop within the first 3 weeks, it doesn't show on your transcript. Anything after that will show as a withdrawal. And after week 7, it will show as an automatic fail. So if you are feeling overwhelmed and you can't keep going on a course and you feel like you need to drop it, do it earlier than later, but don't quit too easily, okay? Talk to your professor and get help with the library and the Student Learning Center, all of that. Course extensions. These are for extenuating circumstances that you may require extra time to finish an assignment past the end of the course. You first have to speak with your professor and see if they are willing to grant you extra time. If you have failed to hand in most of your assignments, it's very unlikely that's going to be granted. You must request an extension no later than 1 week before the end of class. You cannot do this by exam week. There is a process in place where if the professor is willing to give you an extension, you have to contact me in the registrar's office, get the paperwork, submit it to me, and I need to get all the signatures and approval before the last week of class, before exams. And the dean has to review it, and then I will contact you if it's approved or not. Not all extensions are approved because they are for extenuating circumstances, a death, an illness, a hospitalization, that type of thing. Not I got behind, not I had to work, not I broke up with somebody, nothing like that. And we've heard it all, so I'm just letting you know. I'm not minimizing a broken heart. I'm just saying that's not a reason for an extension. All right, GPA, very straightforward. I'll let you just read that very quickly. And AGPA and the difference. You can get more of that in the catalog. I want to focus on deficiencies, academic deficiencies. So we have academic warning. There are 3 levels that we have. Warning is when your GPA drops below 2.0 in 1 term, you'll be placed on academic warning the following term. That means you have to meet with the academic counselor once a term just to get help, stay on track, as well as your advisor will follow up with you. If your GPA drops below 2.0 in 2 executive terms, bless you, consecutive, not executive, or you're a degree student and your overall GPA drops below 2.0, you will be placed on academic probation for the following term. This means you have to meet with your advisor 4 times a term, so once a month. Again, it's to help keep you on track, see where you're having any issues. You can go over that stuff with them. And then your course load may be restricted. And the last one is academic suspension. If you have attempted to have an application to the dean for approval. Locked. Here are the 3 reasons why that can happen. We find often we do a student audit now that school's starting to make sure that your files are all complete, because we're required to have that by the ministry and by OSAP and by our accreditation. So Lucille will start doing your audits. So let's say when you were applying, you submitted your high school transcript, but it wasn't the official one because they were closed. And we don't have the official one. Lucille will reach out to you. She's going to ask you for that. If you don't get it to her within a 2-week time frame, you're going to get locked down, which means you're not going to be able to access things that you're going to need to access. But we need to get our paperwork in order. So just please have the courtesy, if we reach out, respond within 24 hours, and then let us know that you're working on it. Communication. Appeals. You always have the option to appeal an academic decision, including your grades. Now, it says the first step here is to contact me, but I'm going to contradict that in just a second, because it's all about communicating, right? So, If you believe that there's been an error or a typo or a calculation issue, contact your professor, either face-to-face or send them an email and let them know. If they don't rectify it, then come and talk to me. If there's an assignment that you submitted and it's not graded and it's not in the grade book, talk to them first, send them an email first. If you don't get anywhere, come and see me. Send me an email. And then always keep an open line of communication with your professor. I hardly ever have anyone come and talk to me because our professors are really, really great. A word about your privacy. Okay, we are never going to release information like Dr. Housen talked about to anyone. Your parents, that includes your friends. I just had a situation today where students came to my office and I was going to have them come in one at a time. If you're okay with bringing a buddy in, that's fine, but normally I would only meet with one person at a time. If you give consent, then that's fine. If you need consent, it has to be written consent for your parents, because then I'm releasing the information off campus. We need your original signature. So you can't fill out this form and just type in Ben Smith. I need that digital signature that you can do. You can figure out how to do that through YouTube or Google, or a friend will know how to do that. Or I just need your original signature because you've printed it off and done it. So if I don't have that, I can't process your request. That goes for any changes, program changes, all that kind of stuff. We need signatures. Also, please memorize your student number. It makes things much smoother. And we also need to verify your identity. So your photo, if you have not put your photo, and many of you don't have your photo on MyHeritage, by the end of today, can you go out in the hallway, outside, somewhere, take a really cute picture from here to here? Not climbing a mountain, we've had those before. Not in a distance with a peace sign with a bunch of your friends. We just need your face. No dogs, no pets, just you. You can be creative on social media. Okay, pretty straightforward. Any questions? Yeah.
If you already have the photo on MyHeritage, but you want to change because you don't like how it looks, is that fine?
Yes, absolutely. If you have your picture on MyHeritage already and you don't like it, can you change it? Yes. Why not put your best foot forward, right? One more thing do I have any other questions? Okay, I'm going to email this to you, but I'm going to go over this very quickly. Communicating with your professors through email. Before contacting your professor, check your syllabus. Most often the information is in there. Determine the nature of your inquiry and the best approach. So again, ask questions, look at your syllabus, look at the student handbook, Heritage manual style. Often your questions are in there, but if you need further clarification, that's fine. Just try and be resourceful. Plan what you want to communicate so that you're communicating concisely. And remember that your communication needs to be professional. Texting is very different than email. So please don't email like you're texting. We are preparing you a year from now, 4 years from now, to be professionals when you come out. This is the time to practice that, okay? So pick a clear, concise, informative subject line. Please don't leave your subject lines empty. It helps us know when we're responding, what we're responding to, and how maybe urgent it is. And that's sometimes what you'll see from me. I'll put action required so that you know this isn't an email I can just go, oh, I'll get to it later. If it says action required, needs timely response. I don't suggest saying that to your professor, but I'm just saying, do a salutation. Hi, hello. Not dude, bruh. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. Identify yourself. Break it into paragraphs so that you're It's easy to follow. Punctuation, spelling, capitals, basic grammar. And instead of being demanding, use conditional tenses of verbs, such as I would like rather than I want this. Avoid slang, avoid caps, because that's yelling. And then reread before you send it to make sure it's clear. And sometimes what you put down, think of it like, do they actually know what's in my head? No, we don't. So try and be really clear. And lastly, sign off on your emails professionally. Use your first and last name and just sign off with your degree. The example I'm going to show you is also, that I'm going to email you, is also going to say, put your school name, your city, and province. That I don't think is necessary. Lastly, just be patient with your professors. Give them 24, 48 hours, business hours to respond to you. If it's really urgent, go and see them. They love talking to you guys. Manual of style that Heather was talking about, that's going to be, I believe Lucille also loaded that up under files on MyHeritage so that it's really quick for each course. We've done that in the past. I think she did that this year. Otherwise, you can find it where Heather said. And did your question get answered really clearly? Like, do you understand what Dr. Hausen was saying?
I believe so.
Sort of? Okay.
I'll take another look at it.
Okay, if not, come see me at the registrar's office today. I'm until 4:30. Okay. Any questions? Well, yeah. Some of the professors, question is, are the professors on campus other days than when they teach? For some. We have our core faculty where I explained where my office is. There's glass doors you can go down, and then we have, that's called the core faculty hallway. So Dr. Joel Barker is core, Dr. Thompson is core, Marianne Vanderboom, but she's on sabbatical. She'll be back in January. Frank Vandermeulen, Jeeman Moon, those ones are core. They're here most days, sometimes not on a Monday. A lot of adjuncts are only here the day that they're here and within maybe an hour before and an hour after. So again, but you could email them. Any other questions? Nothing stupid, I promise. I had someone ask me my favorite color last year. I'm not asking you to ask me that again, but I'm just saying it wasn't a stupid question. Yeah?
What day is the campus store, like merch store, open?
We don't actually have a store. You go to where admissions is. So again, when you come in the main door, where you would have turned to come to me, you just make an immediate left. So it's where Nate, Eckert, and Mackenzie work. It's almost like a fishbowl. When you walk up, you can see them. They have the merch there. Yeah. Yep. Try things on. We have track pants this year. I don't think we've had those before. I don't know. What was that? Any questions online? Maybe I was excited about the track pants because they asked my input on that. I don't know.
Are they track pants or sweatpants?
What's the difference between track pants and sweatpants?
Yeah, okay, so track pants are like a, I don't know, almost like a tent material.
Oh, like that nylon, like Adidas or Nike type Yeah. Okay, they're sweatpants. They're fuzzy on the inside, sweatpants. But not a jogger. Okay, yeah.
Just for curiosity's sake, how do you make your merch?
How do I make the merch? We order it. I don't make it. They just ask for my input. Yeah. Nah, we don't, no.
Well, it goes through Dan, like Dan approves all the logos.
Yeah, we have marketing that does all of our stuff, but we don't make it here. Yeah. Not a stupid question, just a question. Anything else? Okay, I also, on a finishing note, when you're interacting, I really want to challenge. I challenged the students last year, and they did a fantastic job. So I want to challenge you guys. Often, when we say hi to you guys, you do this. And you don't talk to us, and you don't say hi. Just say hi. We're not scary. Even if we come across scary, we're not scary. We really like working here, and we like getting to know you guys. I just had the experience of having a whole bunch of students in my office this morning, and my cup is full because I love interacting with you guys. You guys are my kids' age, and it's awesome. So don't feel like you can't kind of connect and get to know us, because we want to get to know you too. Yeah. That will be coming out probably first week in November. Yeah. If we can get things organized a little bit sooner, we will, but yeah, usually it's November. Oh, the other thing that might be helpful is when you're on My Heritage, there's in the black tab at the very top, there is, I think you guys can see that. There's a calendar so that you can see our institutional calendar. Thank you for nodding. So if your parents are contacting you and saying, when's your reading week, you can find that out on there. It's really helpful. So, because sometimes they want to plan stuff for you. And the other thing, we did talk to your parents that were here yesterday about reading week, or just when you guys go home. If you guys are feeling really burnt out, it's really good to communicate that to your parents. I've been here for 12 years, and I used to be at like a service window, and I used to get to know you guys like crazy. It was so much fun. And what I loved is you taught me so much of, from a parent's perspective. I got to hear your perspective of what it was like to be away from school. And some of you look forward to going home, but you are full of angst because you're going to go home, but now my parents are going to put me to work, and they're going to do this, and I have to do this. And you just want to go home and chill and reboot and sleep for days. So communicate that to them, because I remember the first time a student told me that, I was like, oh, I would have made that mistake, and I would have ticked my kid off. And I had no intention. So your parents aren't intending to hurt you or frustrate you. They're oblivious. They don't remember, or maybe they didn't go off to college, or it didn't feel the same to them as it did you. Just communicate with them. You're an adult now. This is an interesting stage to train your parents that you're now adults, because sometimes it takes us a while to transition that. Anyway, just want to encourage you guys. I love you. I love this age. I can't even say it enough. I'm really happy you're here. Any other questions? All right, well, it's been my joy to be with you guys and see you. Thanks for being attentive and your great eye contact. And nobody was on their phone. I'm so impressed with you guys. All right, have a wonderful day.